Okay, this is something I wanted to do for a very long time. I try to maximize this space as much as possible. You can see that I've already kind of done that in a few different ways we're gonna talk about in a second. This closet is just full of stuff. This is all storage down here. I really want an overhead lighting rig. I want something that's minimal setup, minimal teardown, or ideally something I can just leave there all the time. Because as you can see, this is the door, this is my desk. Once this door is open all the way, there really isn't room for much of a stand there at all. Over on this side, there is really no room for a stand. And then I've got this window that leads out onto my balcony right behind my desk. So options are limited. Now, in terms of the actual lighting we're gonna be using for today's video, I've had my eye on some Nanlite lights, in particular, the Pavo Slims, and Nanlite was kind enough to send me a bunch of stuff for this video and for these rigs in general, so I'm gonna show you guys what I got. This is where I've been putting everything for now. Ignore the cat toys and also the cat. Hi, Luna. Oh, now you won't look at me? Wow. Anyways, this is everything that Nanlite sent me. We have the Pavo Slim 60C. We have the Pavo Slim 120C. We actually have two of those. Underneath these grip arms, we have, I know, don't come for me because the Nanlite Pavo tubes are under there. We have two of those, and I'm super excited to use all of this. I actually have already set up the 60C, and I'll show you how I did that a little later on in this video. But for the overhead rig, I wanna use the 120C. And that's just because it's a nice big light. They're actually ridiculously lightweight. I wish you guys could hold them through the screen and know how lightweight they are, but it should cover most of my desk, or at least be able to give a good amount of light to like 80% of my desk. That's the idea. There are so many different ways that I could go about doing this, and I'm so picky about how I want it done. So here are all of the different options I came up with that would have worked for this setup and that would work for a multitude of other people's setups too. So here is my amigo, Edward Lee Films. He posted this fantastic reel about his overhead desk lighting setup. This is one of the reels that he posted, and you can see he's actually using a different light, but the overhead stand is super cool. It's a telescoping arm. It counterbalances itself with the way that the legs come out, and it takes up minimal floor space because part of the stand is actually going under your desk. That stand is actually from a company called Pro Aim. Here's my problem with this stand. It's $700. And I just can't justify spending $700 on a stand. That would also still be cluttered. Like, it still has to go on the floor. And in other rooms that are bigger than this one, it would be perfect. And it still is perfect. And I'm gonna keep this on like my stand wish list for quite some time. Probably until I get it, because I do think I'm gonna bite the bullet and get it at some point, because it's really cool. I've never seen anything like this. But I'm not doing that for this video because I'm just not in the mood to spend $700, you know what I mean? Here was the next rabbit hole I went into. This is my friend Chris Brockhurst. He recently posted a reel. He has this system over top of his desk in his studio that it looks like he's totally renovating. It's called a Varipole system. Those two poles are actually pressure, what are they called? Like pressure, insert the word here, tense, they're tensing poles. Anyways, he has them put on either side of his desk and he has a pole running between them. So he's essentially built his own like baby grid to hang cameras on, to hang lighting on, microphones, everything to just go over his desk. Now, that would work here. I'm not saying it wouldn't, it would, but I'm not in the mood to have a giant pole going up all the way to the ceiling on either side of my desk. That's not really conducive to a, you know, warm and inviting desk setup, because I only have one desk in here to shoot that stuff. I only have one desk. I don't have a separate desk to shoot top-down stuff. I have to work here too. It needs to be a nice environment. It looked like a lot, so no Varipole system. Again, all of this will be linked in the description below if you want to check it out. This might work for you. Option number 3, head on over here to Amazon. So there are tons of mounts that actually screw into the wall that have spigot heads on the end of them. And this, in theory, also would have worked really well here. But as you saw when I was giving you a quick look at the office, I have a guitar here, and in putting up that guitar, we found out it's concrete, and only 2 screws were able to actually go into the wall, and then the other 2 are just for decoration. So screwing something into the wall was not an option. In the future, I would love to do something like that, because again, I hate having so many stands, but I digress. Maybe that will work for you. Option number 4. Now, option number 4 is to use what I have access to. I have a C-stand over here. It's on casters, and it's holding my Aperture 300D. In theory, I could use that, take the light off of it, wheel it over here, put a grip arm on it. You know, it's not that hard, Lizzie, and then just add your Pavo Slim to the grip arm, and then you're done. But it defeats the purpose of me not having a stand on the floor. I didn't want to stand on the floor. Right now, I only have that one C-stand, and in realizing that, I did go ahead and purchase 2 more C-stands that are on their way and arriving tomorrow, but it doesn't keep it off the ground. Would that work in the meantime? Yes. But I don't want to stand on the floor. Option number 5. I'm not kidding, like this has taken up a lot of space in my brain. I've been thinking about this for months. Option number 5 is to use my mounted desk setup. So we have an option we're gonna try out today to see if that will work. My mounted desk setup is essentially a giant clamp rod to my desk. I've got this camera on it. Why don't I just show you? All right, this is the setup I was just recording with. So it's this pole right here, clamps onto my desk down there, and it's got a couple different arms. I've just actually put my Joby tripod head on there so that I have a ball head. Got my A7C there, and I actually use this for like Zoom meetings and stuff. I've got the rest of the light mounted here with a clamp. I've got another arm up here that's kind of jankily held with a spigot. For some reason, the spigot won't screw all the way in here. I don't know why, but trust me, it is sturdy. And then this is the Nanlite 60C softbox. It's pretty cool. This actually pops back in and flattens with Velcro, so it's super easy to travel with. These are incredibly lightweight, incredibly bright. It's perfect for a little filming desk setup. Oh, I also have my Dinkum Systems clamp arm down here, and I just put this Polar Pro phone mount on it, so I use that for my stories and whenever I just need something to hold my phone and to get a little bit of light, because I live in Toronto. This is what I'm dealing with like 90% of the time, and it's not that fun. Yes, I do have a waterfront view, and that is beautiful, but it would be more beautiful if it were sunny out. That's all. So that is the 60C, but let me talk to you about the 120C for a second. This is the Pavo Slim 120C. It's super thin, it's super bright, it's really tough, and honestly, I think great for travel if you're filming some corporate interviews. It's got an output of 12,830 lux, and it has a solid construction that was designed to last. It is a super fast setup and breakdown. I cannot emphasize that enough. The softbox just pops out super easily with these 2 little straps on the side. It also has a grid included as well. These lights can run on AC or battery, and it features a V-mount battery plate for working on location. And with each purchase of a 120C, you've got the case, softbox, 2 diffusions, a control unit, a super clamp, cables, and a 2-year warranty that does extend to 3 years with online registration. Here's what we're gonna do. By the way, Justin has been here the entire time because I need him to film B-roll for this next part. I just didn't want to film in front of him, so he's been sitting in the living room doing other things. Anyways, so we're gonna try to use the mounted desk setup in order to attach this light. Now, I spent probably a good hour, not more than an hour of my life yesterday trying to find the right pole and the right clamp to be able to attach it to that, because Mounted doesn't make anything. And despite my best efforts, I didn't find anything that worked perfectly. So my best solution was to pick up this Ulanzi double clamp. You can unlock it like this, and then this will spin around in whatever direction you want. However, it doesn't bend. So we're gonna clamp one side of this to the center pole, and we're gonna clamp the other side to just a regular grip arm, this little dude. And then we're going to put a spigot in this end and attach the Pavo Slim 120C to that spigot. Then the head on the Pavo Slim should be able to rotate in a bunch of different directions, but this should get us to an overhead desk setup that in theory we could just leave there. We did have one more option, which I think is worth mentioning. Our backup plan if this doesn't work, and we could suction the light to the window or the door, the sliding door. However, that isn't something that we could leave there all the time because the suction would really only last for 24 hours max. So we would have to put it up and take it down, but that would mean no stands on the floor. So I doubt this is gonna work for you guys. This is a very special situation because like half of the walls in this room are windows. It could be cool, but I just don't want to spend the money unless we have to. So let's try this first. This clamp mount, it's not even really that the light's too heavy, it's just this clamp mount is too weak. This is spinning with the slightest amount of weight on here. I still kind of want to like jankily put it up and see what happens and see what it looks like. I wanted this to work so bad. No, just, it's so heavy. We were so close.
well. All you have to do is extend your...
I never thought about doing it like over the desk. What if we order this and it doesn't work now? Do we do suction mount? I'm kind of on the side of the pressure one because that we could leave up all the time. And then we still got to figure out how we would clamp it. Well, this... It is April 16th, some time has passed, and we have purchased a new clamp that is much stronger than the previous one. This is going to work perfectly for our overhead setup when we're doing any product shots. Unfortunately, you can already tell that the pole on my desk, the mount it setup, doesn't go super high, so if we needed to have a setup that's a little bit higher, we'd probably just pull out the C-stand. For daily use and what this is intended for, it's for unboxings, it's for showing any product on my desk. It's gonna go right into our Pavo Slim 120C Nanlite. Let's build it! Hooray! So ideally, this is going to be set up like this all the time. So anytime I need to do a quick product shot or a quick little desktop demonstration, I can just pull out this tripod, turn on this light, and be done with it. It's a little low if we were trying to light me from overhead. I still think it might be possible if it's a tighter shot, but obviously if you move out wider, you're gonna see this in your frame. If you wanted an overhead setup that's gonna go a bit higher, I would recommend any of the other options we went through earlier in this video. This is keeping a lot of stands off the floor in a small space like this, which is what I wanted. I have everything hooked up to this one mounted stand. It is holding strong. If you are looking into doing a setup like this in your own office, I would recommend this mounted pole, or there are some other options for similar items that I will also link in the description box below. But I think this is gonna work really well for me. Setting the camera up on a tripod like this just at an angle rather than overhead is still gonna look just fine, and that way I won't get any shadows from the camera in the actual shot that I'm filming, and I can just kind of stand behind it here, and it's a POV angle of whatever product I'm trying to show. Make sure that your overhead light is directly over top of that product, so that product should be centered underneath. Otherwise, if you move it in either direction, you're gonna get some shadows, and that is not the point of having an overhead rig setup. As always, everything will be linked in the description box below. Big thank you to Nanlite for sponsoring today's video and for gifting us all these awesome lights. I really can't recommend them enough. This would not have been possible if this panel was not this lightweight. I have a fully stacked Nanlite setup on my desk right now, and I could not be happier about it. So if you like this video, please give it a like down below, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell to get notified for all future videos. It really does help support this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.